Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boscheman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the numerology and the energy for May 2022. First, we're going to look at the numerology and energy for the collective, which we are all a part of. And then we're going to break it down into the individual life path forecast. So before I get started, of course, this is a general reading. If you would like a personalized reading, please book some time with me. My information is in the description box below. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. So in the Northern Hemisphere, May brings flowers, springtime, and 11-2 energy this year. So when we have master level energy in a cycle, we may notice the challenges or obstacles to be a bit more pronounced, but the same can be said of the rewards of this cycle. So think of it like taking an accelerated master's level course. We'll have to put in the effort, but the satisfaction will be worth it. Similar to a 2 cycle, you may notice your experience sort of hasten, and this can help to push us to be much more decisive within our actions and our personal circumstances. Sudden events can occur now that require us to quickly go within, follow our instincts or our intuition, and take the reins within our own experience when we're deciding next steps. So, in doing so, we alleviate the tendency for being influenced by others during this time because there's a sense of urgency present that doesn't support calling multiple friends, weighing the options, reviewing pros and cons. No, you already know what to do. And this energy is assisting you in trusting yourself and the cues of your body and your own inner knowing. So don't miss an opportunity because you don't trust yourself enough to make a decision. This energy can feel almost hectic and exciting, and it can create a tendency for impulsivity. So this is fine if, of course, if it feels right to you and if you're following your own intuition. However, be aware of feeling like you have the need to sort of make a knee-jerk commitment at this time, simply to, rush through the process to get to the conclusion. If it feels aligned, great. But if it feels sort of cloudy and you're not quite sure, and you're still making haste simply to get to the end goal, then you may wish at a later time that you had taken more time. So be patient, be tolerant, and be decisive. All of that will yield positive results during an 11-2 cycle. Legal dealings can come up now to be worked through as well. So financial settlements are possible, such as inheritance or lawsuits of some sort being finalized. Contractual agreements, partnerships can also come to the forefront. And this, of course, includes marriage, divorce, adoption, buying or selling a home, property, or material goods. This 11-2 energy is also beautiful energy for investing time and resources into learning something new or furthering your education in some way. So signing up for a course, going back to school, attending a workshop of some sort or a retreat, as well as traveling to new places and fully immersing yourself within a different culture. All of this is supported under this beautiful 11-2 energy. Throughout May, we could find that we are more sensitive, and this can be a phenomenal time for enhancing our intuitive and psychic abilities. So this can be a very creative, inspirational period. So pay attention to any insights, dreams, and ideas that come flooding in at this time. So chances are, even if you don't take action on these new ideas, these inspirations, you'll see them resurface in some way again, if they're meant to, right? So at this stage, simply write them down and feel into how you want to work with them. Some you may release, and others you may feel compelled to create something much more tangible. This can be a very exciting cycle for this sort of process. So as mentioned, with any master energy comes master level tests and challenges to figure out and to overcome in order to extract the wisdom needed to move forward. So you may see exciting, big, new ideas emerge at this time, but those big new ideas may be coupled with just as big of challenges to overcome in order to achieve whatever this new goal is. So remember, challenges don't always indicate that something isn't meant for us. Sometimes those challenges are actually allies in assisting us to master whatever it is that we're attempting to achieve. So very infrequently is it true that mastering comes easily. It takes effort, persistence, skill, time, trial and error, all of these things, right? So this is going to be a period to keep moving forward despite the challenges to achieve whatever it is that you're working towards. That is, if it still calls to you. So if there is still fire behind you with whatever this is, then go for it. Keep going. You can overcome whatever challenges surface, and ultimately you're meant to extract the wisdom from those challenges. They're not meant to deter you necessarily or throw you off course. Now, of course, if you're still pursuing an old dream that's no longer your dream, but somebody else's, and your intent and motivation is sort of all about ego over true inspiration and desire, then you may continue to feel sort of out of alignment with this goal, and the challenges will become so great that you're only left feeling defeated versus inspired. So there is a difference. This 11-2 energy will assist us in recognizing sort of where we land with that. And, as we move through this journey, whether the goal is still truly ours or whether it's time to be released for a new one to enter. Big energy for May. And again, it's always what we choose to do with this energy that ultimately makes the difference. So when we're working with master level energy, we can anticipate that there will be master level challenges, but again, it's just assisting us in mastering the energy. So let's move on to the individual life path numbers. Life path number 5. So I pulled an animal spirit card for you all for May, and you got Peacock Spirit. And Peacock's message to you is let yourself stand out and be noticed. So I feel like for 5s, this month may hold some opportunities for you to strut your stuff, to be acknowledged, to be center stage, and to have the spotlight on you, but in a good way. And really with 5s, 5 energy is so big and so extroverted typically. You all, when you're in your higher octave, you generally will thrive sort of in that arena. And so this is just an opportunity, I think, for others to truly recognize your contribution, what you've put forth, your talents, your charm, all of those things, and for you to recognize that as well. If there was any self-doubt going through your mind or anything like that about maybe a big idea came in for you and you wanted to pursue it, but maybe you were having some self-doubt and some self-defeating thought processes coming through. And this is just an opportunity. Peacock is just coming in to remind you of how glorious you are, how beautiful you are inside and out, and to really let that shine. Like, don't make yourself small to make other people comfortable. Not to be cliche, but really it's, 5s typically have such big energy. They're just a big life force, a big creative life force. And this is just an opportunity this month to really do what inspires you. And through that, you will inspire others. But to not make yourself small. You think of the peacock when they flare their feathers fully extended. It's so beautiful and big and, just a presence. And I think that you all are going to have an opportunity. Well, it's a general reading, so maybe not everybody. But for those that this is resonating with, you may have an opportunity this month to really showcase your talents, your charm, your unique gifts, and to just be big and bold and all of those things that just are so beautiful about the 5 energy. And don't shy away from that. That's the thing. It's like, don't keep your feathers to yourself type thing, share that beauty. So beautiful message from Peacock. So don't be afraid to stand up and stand out this month and be noticed, and don't shy away from that or shame yourself for getting the attention or being seen or whatever the case may be. If you do have some hesitancy or resistance to that, then there may be a thought process or a mindset that needs some further evaluation, and maybe take a closer look at that about why you make yourself small or are afraid to be seen or restrict yourself when really with all this beautiful 5 energy, you're really meant to be out there in a big way. Okay, so looking at the month ahead, I feel like there could be some things around mindset coming in mid-month for you all, but I do feel like you're going to have opportunities to release that, and we'll talk about that. Okay, so very beginning of the month could have, if there's some news that you've been waiting on, some kind of confirmation, coming back to what I talked about in the intro with like legal concerns maybe, so like some kind of settlement maybe coming to completion, you getting some kind of clarification or confirmation that is coming to a close, and you're getting basically closure on it. It may or may not go the way that you had anticipated that it would go, but I feel like it's giving you closure so that you can move forward type thing. So definitely feeling like some kind of significant again, communication or confirmation is coming in for you at the beginning of the month. That again feels very significant. It feels like sort of finally getting to that summit of whatever this mountain is that you've been climbing, and things becoming very, very clear for your next steps forward and what moves to make ongoing. There's also an energy here at the beginning of the month for you all to be very decisive. So again, following your intuition, paying attention to the information that you have before you, and coupling that again with your intuition to be decisive in the moment and really trust yourself with those decisions. But this beginning of the month feels like a lot of decisions being made by you, by others, a lot of things coming again to closure that maybe have to do with like settlements or something legal or whatever. But that's definitely coming in very, very strong. Okay, middle of the month for you all. This is where I say there's definitely something here around like minds, something you need to release or to be a little bit more kind and gentle to yourself when it comes to something that maybe you've been really harsh in your judgments about self, and this can be about others as well, and maybe having a little bit more grace with others and compassion. But I'm really getting the sense that this is about self and being really kind and compassionate to yourself and more understanding of yourself, and really working with and finding ways to shift the mindset if it's been detrimental, like if it's been holding you back in any way. This is going to be a time, I think, where if you can do that, if you can release those judgments, if you can release those things that you feel like, the mindsets that are holding you back, the mindsets that are keeping you from fully stepping into peacock energy, I feel like you're going to have an opportunity to really take a closer look at those, which basically just means they may surface for you. And I feel like you'll be very aware of them when they do surface, because maybe something comes up for you that you really want to do, you really want to pursue, but then in comes the thought of, I can't do this, I'm not worthy, or, whatever. So I think you're going to be very aware of the mindset, because it'll come up for you, it'll bubble to the surface to be recognized and acknowledged and worked through. So I don't think you're going to have to go searching for it. And I don't think that you're going to have to, like I said, go spend too much time trying to figure out what it is. If this is relevant for you, I do feel like an opportunity will surface to let this come to the surface, right? So that you can acknowledge it. But the more that you can start to initiate that process of changing that mindset, of working to, again, every time it comes up for you, acknowledge it and then change the thought, change the mindset in that moment. Then every time it comes up, you do the same thing. And eventually, it'll just stop coming up, right? So you just have to work with it, and it can be a lengthy process, but awareness is key. So once you're aware of it and you can recognize how it's holding you back, then you can start to take the steps to minimize that and, rectify it in a way so that it's not holding you back anymore. So I do feel like the more you can work to, again, transmute that energy into something more useful, there will be a tremendous amount of happiness and joy associated with that. So again, it's almost like there's something that you really want to do, but your own restrictions or your own mindsets are holding you back from doing that. I think once you can work through those mindsets, then it's like you've got the freedom to run wild, right? And move forward at a much more expansive, faster pace, which will bring you much happiness as a 5. So just pay attention to the mindsets. Definitely anything that you are sort of doing to yourself to minimize who you are and what you can contribute and all of those things. So if you're a 5 and you are in a really restrictive environment or situation, that is not in alignment with your 5 energy. 5s have to be, 5s can easily fall into either extreme. So they can either be in a really restrictive situation or they can be in a really excessive situation, right? Because 5s really want to just experience life with all their senses. And so it can be very, very big energy. And sometimes to try to mitigate that, 5s can overly restrict or they can go into the excess, right? So moderation is always going to be key for 5s. So if you currently find yourself in any of those extremes, they're hindering your progression forward. They're hindering you in some way, whether you recognize it or not. And I do think that this middle of the month is going to give you an opportunity to recognize where you may be living in one of those extremes. And so where you can, again, come back to center and go into some kind of more moderate experience that you create, right, with your actions. So, okay. And then moving on to the end of the month, something definitely coming in here around work, but this can really be something again where, people are just recognizing you for, again, your contributions, your talent, your abilities, your charm, all of those beautiful things. And they're coming to you for your expertise or to be a part of that experience. I do feel like this is going to be something where you are the expert and people are coming to you for the advice or the product or whatever this is. And again, there is an opportunity, of course, for self-doubt to come in here. So just be very mindful of that. Understand that these people found you for a reason and they're coming to you for a reason. This could also be something around like promotions or, getting a promotion, getting a new job, applying for a job, something like that. But it does feel very much like career or work related. So again, I would just say, don't forget about peacock energy and show up in all of your glory, whether it's for an interview, whether it's for a presentation, whether it's, your marketing to attract more clients or whatever. Don't be afraid to just share that personality, that again, your creativity, like everything that you have to offer as a 5, which is just incredible, beautiful energy. And a lot of people just really want to be a part of that environment, that, part of your sphere, that sort of thing. So definitely feel like there could be an uptick in work at this time. And again, I go back to what I talked about in the intro about doing what inspires you, because that is in alignment with this 11 energy that we have for May collectively. But in doing that, in doing what inspires you, you will automatically be inspiring other people to do what inspires them. So it just has like this ripple effect, this really beautiful ripple effect. And in doing what inspires you, you just naturally, very organically step into peacock energy. You just naturally showcase everything that you have to offer. So it's incredibly beautiful. So you will have a really fantastic, a lot of fantastic energies coming up this month. There's a little bit here around like mindset and changing those thought patterns if you can, or at least start that process. but really just being aware of it and what's holding you back there so that you can address it. But yeah, just step out in all of your glory this month, especially fives. I think that will be very supported and you'll see some beautiful rewards from that. All right, everyone. Thanks so much. Bye for now.